Hello, and welcome to CHUB Cast, where we review 2 albums an episode spanning across a multitude of genres, with your hosts.
My name is Zach Smith.
And I'm the bassist.
And I'm Ben, and I'm the vocalist.
The one who plays the guitar is me, Greg.
I'm Kyle and I hit stuff with sticks.
All the way from Brighton, UK, combined, we make up the band CHUB. I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Hello.
CHUB Cast episode 18. You already know who we are because there's a nice little proper intro thing, so let's get on with it. This week it's part 2 of our specials. We did a genre head-to-head. Last week was prog. This week is funk.
Oh, last
There's
month,
a whole lot
like.
yeah, well, it was a couple weeks ago. But
Last time, yeah.
last
Last
time.
year, in fact.
Last time was our favourite albums. Technically.
Oh yeah, the 0.5. Yeah, I kind of forgot we did that. Yeah, well, it's 2021 now. Hopefully, it's a bit of a better year. We're starting it off well with some funkadelic funk. We got a couple bruisers for you. We got Parliament's album Mothership Connection, classic P-Funk. And we have some of the weirdest music you'll ever hear, but you'll love every fucking second of it. It's Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus. We got a couple singles for you as well. We got Super Freak by Rick James and Get Up Off of That Fang by James Brown. All classics in their own right. I feel like a few of the boys got a bit of education on what funk is because last time there was a few, what even is funk? So it'd be interesting to see what you all got to say rather.
Turns out I've been listening to funk a lot of most of my life. I just didn't know it was called funk.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a vacuous genre, really. Like it could be whatever it wants. Anyway, shall we get on with it? What are we starting with? Or shall we start with Primus?
Yeah.
Might as well. Yeah, go
Primus.
Primus
Okay.
was Greg's pick, so
Say, baby,
take
do
it
you want to
away,
lay
boss.
down with me?
for it. Primus.
My side.
How does he do that?
I don't know.
His lips move as fast as his godly thumb.
Yeah. I've got
All right. But yeah, so yeah, this was the album that I chose. Primus, funk rock legends. Possibly the most well-known funk rock fusion-y band. Certainly the one I've heard the most about. I don't know about you guys, but I had only heard Tommy the Cat really, and like Jerry was the race car driver prior to choosing it for this. Shout out to my mate Will McLaughlin. He is the biggest Les Claypool fan, and he's been trying to push me to listen to more Primus for years, and I've finally done it. But yeah, very different from the pure funk tones of Parliament. So should be some interesting comparisons to be made. I think this is going to be a bit of a Marmite-y sort of album. Like Carl said, it's definitely weird. It's quite hard to fit into a box. And I don't know, it's a very raw sort of sound. You feel like you're looking directly into Mr. Claypool's weird brain sometimes while you listen to it.
Yeah.
Very, very unfiltered.
Is Claypool the bassist and frontman?
Yeah.
So he sings and plays bass at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
The fuck, man?
This
What
guy
a nerd. What a nerd.
Did any of you watch any of like the live performances of any of the songs on this album? My God, he is a magical man.
Yeah,
He's literally like, and his stance is just one of the funniest things to watch ever. Because like,
he's got this like bow-legged.
yeah, he like his legs just go like that, like, and he's probably just like. It's amazing. I love it so much.
He did did something with Satan. He was like, "I will grudge you the power of epic bass, but I will take away your your legs.
So
you will have to walk like a crab for the rest of your life."
In exchange for your amazing bass skills, I'll give you fucking rickets.
It's like there was a race car driver, like crabbing along. Oh dear.
Does he sound like that, bro? Like, is he like, Jerry was a great car driver?
Imagine
Thank you.
if he
I hope
did.
you enjoyed that song, everyone.
Thankfully, he doesn't.
In interviews, he's like, and he just speaks really, really fast as well. Yeah, we had a really good show. It was really good.
Yep,
He's
I
just
play bass.
based on the guy that he could do that.
I sold my legs to bass to Satan to play bass.
I sold my legs to Satan. Oh, mercy.
So music.
Yeah, anyway.
I should pick on somebody. I'm going to go with Kyle.
Okay, so yeah, same boat. I'd only really listened to the classics, so I knew Tommy the Cat, Jerry was a race car driver, My Name is Murd, John the Fisherman. I tried to get into them a few years ago, and they were just too weird for me. They're kind of like borderline. One thing we saw that we both found really funny was somebody said in the YouTube comments for Tommy the Cat, it said, Primus is just Tool for rednecks.
It's so true.
It's absolutely
It's so true. And then once that we saw that comment, it was just like,
it all makes sense.
it makes
now.
sense now. Yeah.
Like,
You
dude,
definitely can't go into this expecting anything. Anything. The only thing you can go into this is expecting amazing bass lines.
Yeah.
You can safely say that to someone, but that's it.
The rest of it is up to you. Go.
yeah.
Go, my child. Be free into the seas of cheese.
Setting safe. Spoilers though, me and Ben kind of went on like a huge Primus kick after listening to this album. We've listened to so much Primus over the past month now. Specifically, their album after this, Pork Soda, has a few slappers on it. And then Anti-Pop, the song Lacquerhead is probably my favorite Primus song. It's actually fucking mental.
Anti-Pop's a really good song as well.
I've not actually listened to that one. I need to give it a proper go. I've heard their most recent album as well, called the Something 7.
Yeah, Saturated 7 or something. I really didn't like that one.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, but it's based on like a child's book. So it's like all of his more recent ones, like they made that whole album that was just like literally a cover of the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory soundtrack.
I wasn't that keen on that one either.
Yeah, they kind of. I mean, in interviews and stuff, he's gone on record to say that like they were really struggling creatively before that, and they kind of went on hiatus for a while. They actually broke up for a while because they were just like, I feel like I'm done, sort of thing. And much like Tool, Primus, Les Claypool, and Maynard James Keenan from Tool both just own vineyards now and sit around growing wine all day.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's only so much wacky you could do.
Before you just grow your own vineyard.
Yeah.
You can sit there with a glass of wine like, I did well.
Yeah. He was like, I'm done with meth now. I think I'm going to move on to vino.
Mellow on with some wine.
Well, Les Claypool apparently used to smoke a shitload of weed, but that was about it.
No. What?
Wait, really?
No way.
Shocked.
I thought he was straight edge.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to be worse than weed. Let's be honest. I thought it was at least like tripping balls on acid.
Honestly, I don't like any band that does drugs.
Meanwhile, I'm wearing a shirt that literally it says "Aliens gave my cat a beard." So
that's a sick name for a band.
yeah. I mean, it sounds like a post-punk.
Or Catbeard. Oh, well, if Chub doesn't
Sounds
work...
like a fucking Primus album.
Catbeard?
No. Aliens gave my cat a beard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, yeah.
All of their song names are just really random. Like, I mean, this starts it out like, and half of their song, like, they've got a bunch of songs that follow the same sort of thing. Like, Jerry was a race car driver, Jilly's on smack, Tommy the Cat, like fucking John the Fisherman. That he really likes his his songs. Oh yeah, and we're known as Big Brown Beaver.
That would be my favorite Primus song. That's such a fucking good song.
He clearly likes telling stories.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
he just all of his songs are just, hey, that was a fucking weird person I met that time. I'll make a song about them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Jerry Was a Race Car Driver is such a good song. It literally sounds. I literally. Okay, you know they did the South Park theme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver is literally like. No
The theme?
shit, they did the South Park theme.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's being sung like by a South Park character.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like
I
Mr. Mackey or something like.
It literally sounds like a South Park character. Like Matt Stone and Trey Parker were just like, we need to get them to do our theme because
Because they
just
sound like
suits them
idiots as
so
well.
well.
I don't know what it is. There's something. Maybe it's his voice, but yeah, they have a bit of a almost like a country, like American country vibe.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're going for. I think like
You say that, but in Tommy the Cat, to me, he sounds like he's like kind of Brooklyn-y in a way.
I think that might be because can you guys still hear us? Or our webcam just suddenly gave up?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Oh well, never mind. Keep going.
yeah, I'll keep going. So yeah, literally, I think that in Tommy the Cat as well, specifically, like they've got like Tom Waits doing a lot of the like the speaky section bits before the actual like say baby.
No, remember.
Yeah, the whole like. She came walking down the alleyway like butter off a hot biscuit.
Like butter
Oh
off
my
a hot
God,
biscuit.
turned it
What the
itself.
fuck? Wait, no, they're Americans, so that'd be butter off a scone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That still doesn't make sense, but it makes more sense.
it's
You put
bigger
butter on a
back.
scone, not a biscuit.
No pun intended.
God, I don't put butter on my bourbons.
Everybody gives Les Claypool a lot of credit for being a sick bassist, but everybody in this band is fucking sick at what they do. They got some really weird time signatures, and one of the things that kind of doesn't lend itself to, like the fact that me and Ben went on a huge Primus bender afterwards is like, I'm trying to remember what was on this album, but like, did you guys listen to My Name Is Mud?
My name is Mud.
My name Matt. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
that's not on this album, but it's
it's on Pork Soda.
It's their most famous song, isn't it? Oh fuck!
I think Tommy the Cat's their most famous song.
yeah. My Name Is Mud's definitely up there though. It's a shame it's not on this album because I want to talk about that fucking video.
Yeah, I mean we could. We're fucking tangents of what we do here.
We could tangent into it quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't particularly look at the lyrics, but then I just didn't expect it to be about like a creepy murderer.
It's about a guy literally murdering his dad with a bat and burying him.
Yeah, and just kind of looking sly and kind of happy about it, and just staring right into the camera, like, "Yeah, I did it."
Like with literally like dirt in his teeth, like just gobbing spit everywhere.
Kissing him side the head with an aluminum baseball bat. My name is Mud.
But it's like that song, the main riff, that. It's like, what is that riff? Why does that work? Like, it has
It
no
works
like,
because the whole band as a whole is weird.
Yeah,
He like
absolutely.
slapped palm mutes as well. It's like it's so weird. It's like it makes such a weird.
Yeah, I actually don't know. Like,
sorry.
Nah, mate, you go.
I was gonna say, in terms of like slap bass technique, like I said, because my friend Will is a massive fan, and he taught himself to play bass basically just so that he could learn Chili Peppers and Primus riffs. And he just sat there for like 2-3 years, did nothing but smoke weed and play bass, and he got really, really fucking good. And he can play like Tommy the Cat and stuff now. And like I've watched him explain all these riffs, and it's just like, I don't know, insane triplet into a slide into up here, down there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Fuck it out.
It really speaks to like Les Claypool's character that he seems to just be some dude who enjoys smoking weed and drinking wine and talking about people's life experiences, but also he's like a revolutionary, ridiculous bassist who does things in a way that nobody else does. It's like, how did this happen? Like,
Yeah.
Did you guys see he auditioned for Metallica after Cliff Burton died.
No.
Really?
Yeah, they auditioned him, and
Damn.
like James Hetfield was like, no, he's too good. He needs to do his own thing.
Yeah.
But
He's
then
too
Les,
good.
Les,
I mean,
Les was like, no, they were just being nice. They just thought I was too weird. I think both are true.
Yeah,
I mean, the problem about bassist to Metallica, it seems. Wait, Robert Trujillo? Is that his name? Trujillo. He's too good for Metallica. Like, oh dear.
It was in Suicidal Tendencies before Metallica, and they had some crazy bass lines.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what's funny? My other band that I was thinking about doing for this week is Infectious Grooves, which is the singer and guitarist from Suicidal Tendencies.
We were listening to them the other day. That was that song, Violent and Funky. That song.
Oh, yeah.
That got recommended to me on Spotify the other day.
That whole album is fucking fire, and their other stuff's pretty good as well.
Damn.
Yeah, definitely recommend that at some point.
In the Chub web, we just made a new connection.
Never expanding, like the universe.
I got a note here that just says something like, not many bands have a driving force of the bass and like have the guitar be the background noise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's very prominent in American Life and Tommy the Cat, where you got this sick bass line just driving the whole song, and then you got the guitar just wailing in the background, not doing much but like wailing. It sounds cool, but like not many bands do that, and I really respect that. In fact, this whole episode is just a real big nod to the bass, which I know I'm a bassist, so I'm biased, but like it's a really underrated instrument. Probably one of the most. Yeah, without bass, like, I mean, this music would be shit without bass. Can you imagine? I wonder if that's on YouTube. Probably like some guy just going like over a guitar, just going like, and that's it.
It's funny because I have the exact same note on American Life. I say, Primus have lead bass.
Yeah. It kind of reminds us what we said about Iron Maiden, where it's just like the bass is just there, but obviously this is more. But it's just good to see, you know. It's just good to see. With bizarre vocals, it's so fucking weird. Like, that's pretty damn obvious from when you first hear it, but it just works. I was trying to figure out why it works, and it just works because everything else is so fucking weird.
So there's like
all the drumming, the weird guitar, obviously the bass. It's just wouldn't work in literally any other band.
No,
but
well, I'd say
because it all comes together in one nice package here. Sorry, Ben.
No, I was just gonna say like what sets Primus up apart as well. I feel like is what they don't do. Where like it sounds weird, but like a lot of their songs are quite spacious. Where they leave bits where like, you know, the drums will give a bit of time and stop and pause for some bit, or like the bass will be like brom brom bom, brom brom bom, like, or like, you know, the guitar will do the same. And like I feel like that's like, I mean, that's kind of a very proggy sort of thing kind of to do anyway, and in funk as well. But I feel like those kind of moments where they leave those gaps and they don't do anything and like let the vocals kind of fill in the bits where it's just like, it just works so well.
It's ironically, it's less is more.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It sounds so fucking.
Hey.
Even though it sounds so fucking crazy, like all the shit that's going on. But yeah, you're right. It's just that everything is breathing, which is why it works. Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know about you guys as well, but this album and the following one especially, like, even though it's all really silly and like just weird, like it's also kind of like oddly foreboding in a lot of places as well. Like, especially songs like, you know, like Here Comes the opening track, Sailing the Seas of Cheese, and Here Come the Bastards. Like like Here Come the Bastards, it just really rubs it in. Like it's a song about being so paranoid you're just convinced somebody's gonna, like, here they come, they're definitely totally coming. It's just like, they're already going to be here. Seriously. And it's just like, okay, they're not really here. And then like the riff is so weird and jarring, and like it goes on, and then they're using all this like these sudden pauses and stuff for you to just stew on what you've just felt. And yeah, it's like, and then they've got like other really serious things, like, I mean, Sergeant Baker's just a song about a sergeant screaming at his men like, you are insignificant, I will shape you into nothingness, like I will strip you of your individuality, I will rape you, was it literally, I will rape your free will or something like that is one of the lines. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and then American Life is a song about like an immigrant who is living like a really shit American life and earning next to nothing, but he's still really thankful because to him he's living the dream. But then there's like, it's juxtaposed in the next verse by a veteran, like an American war veteran who's like living and he's homeless and his American life is fucking awful. And it's like, it's just a really scathing commentary presented in a really silly, weird way.
Yeah, I think you can look at the craziness of the music and kind of assume that there'll be no meaning behind it because it is so weird. But I think that's the essence in a way of like really good art. It does still have that connection to reality. It's just that it's like put through the kaleidoscope of Les Claypool and the rest of the band's fucking schizophrenic minds. But if you look for it, you can still see those realities underneath it.
I like that kaleidoscope comparison, or not comparison. I like that kaleidoscope
Metaphor.
Yeah, metaphor. That's it.
Yeah, I think that definitely leads on to the one of my biggest points is that like the lyricism in this album is fantastic. It's so like like I was saying, obviously there's quite a scathing criticism of like American culture like during the 90s and stuff like that. I'm guessing this came out in the 90s, right? Or the early 2000s?
91.
It was early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s. So
91.
kind of, yeah, well there you go. Boom. And yeah, it's kind of, but it has the moments where it's also a bit silly, but like the actual lyricism and like the metaphors and everything in this is so good. Like, you know, like again, like what Carl mentioned earlier about the like sliding like a hot biscuit or something from Tommy the Cat.
The air was thick with catcalls. No pun intended.
Oh yeah,
nice.
it's just all really written really well. And like from like a music theory point of view, I'd love to do like a deep dive into why it's good, because it's so weird. But...
yeah,
it's very Marmite though. Not just. Sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say on Ben's point, like I'd love to know if Les and the rest of the band are actually super knowledgeable about musical theory and they're like intentionally doing really clever stuff with tones and scales and modes and chords and all that, or if they're just like intuitively, you know, feeling it. Like, because Jimi Hendrix apparently didn't know that much about like musical theory, and he just had it on instinct. But then you get other people, like so many other people who write amazing things, but they're like consciously making decisions about it. I'd like to know which one this is.
Damn.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if a Google would bring that answer up.
Probably. I haven't done any research for this.
They've been going for a long time that they might have said it in an interview.
It would be such a Primus thing to do as well, doing all of this really silly and ridiculous stuff and making it seem like you're absolutely ridiculous and just flamboyantly weird, but then actually it's all meticulously and seriously artisanally crafted.
He's got sheets and sheets of music, and he's like, "Well, you see here, this is where blah 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 blah."
He goes into crippling detail about it all.
I think you do get musicians like that though. Like, I feel like Devin Townsend's a bit like that.
Oh
like,
yeah, I can imagine.
He acts the fool, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I wanna try and contrast the loving praise with a bit of criticism, to be fair. I did find that a few moments in this album were coming across a bit samey to me. The parts where it was great and it shined were songs like like Here Come the Bastards, Sergeant Baker, 11. I loved 11. I think that was one of their longest songs. And that was like, I think it was like one of the proggiest ones, and like and it was awesome, very Tool-esque. And then obviously their singles like Jerry the Race Car Driver and Tommy the Cat. But a couple of the songs that kind of that there were a little bit lackluster, like Granddad's Little Dirty. What was it?
I wanted to bring that up. It was an interlude, bro. There's an interlude in here, bro. I just can't escape them.
You can't escape the fucking interlude.
And this interlude's really rubbing it in your face. Like, yeah, fuck you, I'm an interlude about an old man singing in the shower about nothing.
Yeah. He's interlude.
Oh god.
There was another one like Saffington Waltz is an instrumental, but it was just kind of for me. It was very boring. My only note I have here is very forgettable.
Yeah,
you could cut that from the album and not lose any value.
Yeah,
I'd say the latter half part of the album, apart from where they kind of wrap it up in the last song, where it was kind of like
Fish On or Los Bastardos.
Los Bastardos. I liked that because it was reminiscent of Here Come the Bastards.
It was like a reprise basically.
And I'm always a big fan of reprises, but that kind of that latter half of the album wasn't a huge fan of it. Kind of fell off a little bit, and it was a bit like eh. But for the most part, like where it shined was obviously the big singles and the really bass heavy, proggier stuff. So for the most part, it was still really great.
To be fair, I did really like those Damn Blue Collar Tweakers as well, which is like near the end.
Yeah, I liked that one.
I think.
I liked it too. I liked Fish On as well. I did like
Fish On had a great melody at the beginning.
Yeah, I feel Fish On was a little bit long.
Yeah,
it was definitely a slow burner.
But yeah, I do agree with you, but there were like points where, the excitement drops, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah. It did
have. The problem with me is the excitement drops during songs. Sometimes I can't give you an example, but like I know what you mean. I couldn't pick an individual song that I didn't really like, but I know there's parts in a lot of the songs where I'm like, I'm bored now. Let's keep this going.
That's the problem with some bands that have like relatively longer kind of songs that are a bit more like wacky, because there'll be bits that you're like fuck, and then there are other bits that kind of lull, and like that might be intentional or whatever, but like as an artistic piece. But for like a bit of music that you just want to listen to and enjoy, like sometimes you're a bit like ugh. Like the worst thing is when you're listening to a song and you get to a bit that you really loved, and then the bit after that you don't really like, so you kind of have to sit through it a bit. Like it's no one really likes that kind of song. So a few of the songs in this album had those kind of moments, but again, for the most part, they were all pretty heavy bangers.
Yeah, they were over before you got bored and like wanted to skip the song anyway. But,
yeah, exactly. That's it.
I think in terms of funk in general, like because spoilers, I think the Parliament album did the same, and it's because they kind of want you to really get into the groove and like ride it out for as long as possible, sort of thing. It like at times like it feels like it overstays its welcome, but if you're really into the groove and you're really feeling it, then it's really appreciated in my opinion, because it's like, okay, I'm really stuck in this now. Like Here Come the Bastards is a super repetitive song. Like most of the song is here they come, and it's like, but the fact that like
here they come,
by the time they start doing that, it's like really hooked you in, and you're like proper here they come, and it's like in your brain is just like this could never end and I'd be fine, sort of thing. Like, but then obviously again, like it's all up to personal interpretation. Some people are like, oh my god, he said here they come about 50 times now.
Yeah, it's down to your mood as well. Like, if you're in a kind of I don't know, antsy mood, you know, sometimes you're in a mood to just sit down and like relax and do and sort of do one thing. I think that's like the mood where funk is appropriate. If you're like up on the move doing stuff, like with a sort of active mind, then I think I would want something with a bit more of a journey to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I personally didn't really like Here Come the Bastards. I said it was in my head, but I didn't like it for that reason. It was kind of boring.
Yeah.
Here they come. Yep. Yeah, here they come.
Yeah, here they
Yeah.
come.
For me, the album picks up at Sergeant Baker, and then from then on out, it goes really good until Los Bardos.
Los Bastardos.
They star it out in fucking Apple Music, so I'm like, Lost B *** dos.
Isn't it literally The Bastards, but in Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
literally Here Come the Bastards again.
Do we have any final thoughts and reviews and ting? Ben?
Final thoughts. This was definitely a great introduction into Primus. Appreciate that, Greg. We've been pretty much non-stop listening to these guys for like the past month now, in regards to not like full albums, but like songs here and there. Really, really enjoyed this album. Even though obviously, like I said before, it had its kind of lulls here and there. For the most part, it was a solid banger. The bass riffs were ridiculous. The lyrical delivery and content were both just so dumb, but I loved it. Because it was complemented with just like the most disgusting music alongside it, and that's what made it work. I feel like any other type of music, like if it was just like normal hard rock or something, like the lyrics and everything, it just wouldn't have been as good. But the fact that the music is so weird and it like complements the weird delivery as well, just amazing. So yeah, chef kiss on that. I really like this. I'm gonna give this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really liked it. And I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10.
Wait! This is just a really long-winded bit. I actually hated it.
Let me talk about it.
My name's not even Ben. Put the mask on.
I'm Kyle. And Kyle's like, I'm Ben.
We just keep climbing out of each other. Anyway, it's an 8.5. Zach?
8.5. All right.
Oh, you both gave it an 8.5. Okay.
Yep. Kyle? Nah. So, Tommy the Cat, I've Primus has been on my radar for over a decade now. Like, I don't know how the hell I first listened to Tommy the Cat, but Tommy the Cat and a couple of other things like Nikki Sixx and Geezer Butler were like the reasons why I got into bass in the first place back in college. And I remember like trying to learn Tommy the Cat on bass, and I learned it. I could play it at like 0.3 times speed. It's pretty good. I can't remember it anymore, but I do remember just sitting there and playing it, just like do 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 do, being really proud. Small accomplishes.
Dude, I'd be proud as fuck if you could play
Baby
that.
steps.
Baby steps. And but like the problem with this album is I don't really like Here Come the Bastards and its Spanish accompaniment, other Spanish song version. That's the one. Caesar Cheese, Grandad's Little Ditty, Sathington's Waltz. They can all go. I
agree, exactly the same.
And then you're left with an absolute bop of an album. But because they're there, I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. But the songs that I love. But as a whole album, those little interludes and funny for like the first time you listen to them. Nah, no.
Yeah.
Actually, Zach, one of my notes is the song "Is It Luck"? Is it luck?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna hate that song.
Is it luck? I mean, I got a note here that I haven't said yet. The bass is absolutely nutty in "Is It Luck."
Yeah, that is true. But the lyrics are just, it goes on for so long. It's just like some of the fucking lyrics there are hilarious. But I thought you wouldn't like it because it's weird as fuck and it goes on forever and it's proggy as hell. I was
It's only like 3 minutes long.
Yeah, but it feels like it goes on
Feels
forever.
like
Just
it,
the whole song is just. Is having feet at the end of your legs luck? When you count to 10, is it luck?
I don't know. I guess I just liked it.
That was one of the songs
I mean,
randomly popped into my head the most. You'd just be walking along, it's like,
yeah. Is it luck? No, I like that one.
It's got stuck in all of our heads, different parts. Like me and Ben will be just like, "My name is Matt," just to like randomly look at each other, like, "Damn it, guess my name," or something like that, just out of nowhere. Like, so obviously the lyrics have had an effect on all of us.
Kyle.
Me, yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I agree with Zach exactly. I didn't like any of those songs you listed, but all the other ones are great. Is It Luck is a bit hard to listen to. I think I'd have to be in the right mindset to listen to it, or I'd feel like I was actually going crazy.
Okay, I'm going to listen to it after this because I don't remember it being really hard to listen to.
For me, like, by the end of it, I thought I was actually going insane. I liked it, but
maybe I already am insane. Did you think about that one, Kyle?
I got you there, boy. They really tick all of the chunk boxes for me. Like, Here Come the Bastards has a really chunky break. Sergeant Baker has a really disgusting breakdown at the end. Like, I actually like verbally groaned a few times from how dirty it was. American Life, like the commentary really hit me quite hard. Like, I really want to try learn some of the drum beats because it's so dynamic and different to so many other things. Primus don't sound like anyone else. Like, you hear any of their songs, you're like, it's Primus immediately. Like, it just you know it is. I feel like the one point that people might not like is his vocals because again they're fucking strange. Like, I didn't like Jerry Was a Race Car Driver the first time I heard it because my god, like the whole song is literally just like and it's really like mumbled and quiet and distorted. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, that's funny. That was the first song on the album that I was legitimately like, this is my favorite song on the album so far. I love this one. Weird.
Yeah, I like it now. I like it now because the breakdown's fucking gross. Oh mate, like honestly, if I want to go to one of their shows because I think we would lose our shit.
Yeah,
like,
so good. The mosh pits are literally just going to be people fucking like doing a hoedown.
It's just going to be full of people crab walking around.
Yeah, I think it would just be ragdoll and just...
Yeah, literally, it's ragdoll physics mosh pit. That's the only way to mosh pit mosh to this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I really liked it. I've been listening to a lot of Primus since. I'm going to continue listening to Primus, and I want to cover one of their songs. It's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't want to cover one of their songs.
Yep.
Go on, Gregory.
Greg. See us
Yeah. Woo. Like I say, look, similar to you guys, wasn't that knowledgeable on Primus before. Now, I would consider myself a big fan. I've been through, listened to their other albums. It really, really tickles my pickle and just into the right way.
That's another Primus song name. That is Tickles the Pickle.
Oh no, it's ours now. We can do it. Yeah, I do agree with all the points, the good points and the bad points. I do think those few tracks that just slow it right down do cost it quite a bit. So like I was going to give it a 9 for enjoyment and originality and just like talent, but I also am going to drop it to an 8 just because of those few things that you could just taken that out, just not do that. And it would have been a better album.
Why the fuck is there an old man in a shower for 37 seconds? Like, come on, man.
Anyone listening to this in the future when we're super famous? Chub hates interludes. Everyone hates interludes here. Fuck interludes.
We're going to become super famous just so we can change the industry.
Yeah.
We're going to be pioneers for not doing something.
Stop it.
And final point with this band, we've neglected to mention as well. Primus suck.
Primus fucking sucks, dude. Primus sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
I get it.
That's what the fans chant at their shows.
Oh,
they're like Primus sucks. Primus. That's like their slogan.
Yeah.
It's just Primus suck.
But in that case, Primus do suck.
Now we got some singles for your boys. Let's start with Zach's suggestion. James Brown, the Godfather of Funk.
Oh my god.
Godfather of Soul, really. Get up off of that thing. Take it away, Zachy.
Kyle, you might know more about this guy than I do.
Not really. I should have done a more of a wiki. I did actually look at a big Wikipedia thingy, but I've forgotten all of it. So bad person.
That's fine.
I didn't
James
even
Brown
for this one.
I'll be honest. I chose this because I thought it was a funny song. And then I listened to it, and it's awesome. It's fucking
great
awesome.
song.
My notes is this song is so hype. It really wants to make me want to get up off of that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It really makes me want to get up off of that thing.
I also chose it
makes
because
you
I
get
thought
up.
it'd be funny for us British boys with a southern South England accent to just say "get up off of that thing." Get up
off of that thing.
I sure would love to get up off of that thing. Yes, quite right. Right. Yeah.
This song's a fucking jam. You can't not dance to this song. It's like literally James Brown fucking commanding you. Get the fuck up, you bitch. Get up off that fucking thing right now.
Bitch.
And he's...
I just got a few more notes. I said, like everything else this episode, the bass is flawless. I fucking love the bass in like these songs. In every song we do today. I also wrote, it just sounds like they're having a laugh. Towards the end of the song, it just sounds like every musician is just having a great time. It's awesome. I also chose it. I swear this song was on a 3D animated movie. And I literally cannot remember what it was.
Very possibly,
It's been in a bunch of movies, I'm sure. It's kind of iconic song.
James Brown's been around forever. It really... this song made me think of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and I was like, why? It's not in that. And then I went to James Brown's Spotify page, and it turns out he did The Boss, which is in that film. Which is the cost to be the boss. That's all.
All right.
Nice.
Cool.
I really want to know what this fucking movie it's from. It's something like shit like Shark Tale, but I swear it's like mid-noughties like cartoon era. And I've just got this vision in my head of just like, get up off that thing! And I'm like, what film is that? It's been driving me crazy.
The horns in this song are amazing as well. Just that is such an iconic little riff that I'm just like, yeah. It's just so smooth. And then as you say, like towards the end, they're probably just jamming it out. And it's just like, hey Jimmy! Yeah. You got that fake Jimmy! It's just like yes, mate. I don't know if they played it live or if they're like actually there, like, okay, now here I will say, all right, Jimmy, get up off that.
They've probably all recorded it in one room together. Like, just got like a billion microphones just dotted everywhere. They're just playing it.
Zach, it was used in the finishing or closing sequence of the film Robots. The animated film Robots.
It was that! Oh my god, it was!
And it was also in Muppets from Space as well, apparently. It was used...
Definitely Robots.
Used in that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I forgot about that movie. That wasn't a bad movie, actually.
It was alright. It was just really like it came out at a time when like for some reason it was just kind of forgotten. I don't know. It must have come out at the same time as like Wall-E or something.
Crap,
and then
it was probably crap.
Yeah,
I like it because I was a kid when I watched it, so I'm like nostalgic for it. But fucking hell, oh my god, yeah, because the guy who didn't have the voice, he got the voice box in and he starts singing it at the end.
Yeah, in the closing.
I feel like the planets just aligned. Fucking hell.
I love those moments where like something's on the tip of your tongue, and then when you find out, you're like, ah!
Now it's on the tip of my penis.
Penis.
Oh, mate. Was Robots DreamWorks as well?
I think
Does
so.
anyone remember?
Yeah.
I must have
Yeah,
been.
so
It definitely wasn't Pixar, so yeah, I think it was
no.
like DreamWorks or something.
Pixar did WALL-E. That was their robot endeavor, and it was much better.
Oh yeah.
Still never
better.
seen it. Still never
Maybe
seen
it was
it.
like rip off studios that just capitalize on big movies and like make
Yeah.
a terrible copy.
They always want to. Pixar films always want to rip on my heartstrings. They're so good. Anyway, James
music. Greg, fire us up. Some. What did you think of it?
Some hot fucking takes. Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah.
Yes. To be fair, what more can you say?
I mean,
well, I was gonna on what you said about all the bass today being really good. I was just gonna say that it's amazing, but in a very different way to Primus. It's like partly it shows the versatility of what you can do with a bass. Whoa!
Thanks for catching that, Ben.
And Carl and Ben
My
out
phone
in a tornado.
My reactions weren't quick enough.
You fucking had no reactions at all.
Oh
Oh
that's my
dear.
reaction.
Fucking pick us up, Ben. All right. Anyway, continue. The bass was great in a different way.
Yeah.
Fuck, what have I done?
It was. I was thinking in trying to write notes for this episode earlier. Literally, all my brain was doing was going, "Yeah, it's really funky." And I realized that I'm so used to using the concept of funk to like describe other things as a kind of. I use funk as a reference point to point to something in a rock song. I'll be like, "Oh, that bass line was really funky." So now that I'm actually having to talk about funk, I'm like,
that bass line's really rocky.
Yeah.
I don't know how is the camera angle completely different now.
Just move.
Wait. Don't talk about it. We got audio listeners. I will. Me and,
Okay.
Oh.
yeah.
fucking it up.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Hello, audio listeners.
I know what you mean, Greg. I know what you mean. There's so many just line notes I have was I really liked that bass. That's some good bass.
Yeah.
That was like
It really carries it through.
That was some good bass. When they did the things with the bass, it was good.
yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, it wasn't just bass. Everything about this song is really good. It's obviously like one of the most sort of exemplary examples. That's a really terrible sentence.
Exemplary example.
Well,
Nice.
what's the better way of saying that? It really epitomizes what classic sort of pure funk is. Yeah, it's like if you wanted to show an alien what funk is, you'd fucking show him. You'd show him this or the other single. Like,
yeah, I'm sure James Brown is considered the granddaddy of funk. Like
he's the grandfather of soul, which is kind of odd.
I'm pretty sure he's the grandfather of funk as well. Like,
Yeah.
I swear someone said that online.
At the very least, he's like one of the major players in the funk movement.
Yeah. He's great. He's great. I need to listen to some more of his stuff because this is one of the only songs I've heard from him, or that I think I've heard from him. I've probably definitely heard way more of his stuff.
Yeah, you have definitely heard other songs.
I can't remember his big hits, but you would have heard them. I mean, another thing about pure funk is they all have fairly similar titles, where it'll be like, "Funk it up, funk that thing, yeah."
Funk it up,
funk me, funk. I'm gonna funk.
Oh my god, I'm gonna funk.
Ben, you got any points to throw in?
This song felt good on my ears.
Nice. Shall we rate it? I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
He did Sex Machine as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've definitely heard of that. All right, thumbs up from Zach. Hooray!
Thumbs up from Ben.
Thumbs up from
Yay!
Kyle.
Nice.
Take it away, Ben.
Yeah, so Super Freak by Rick James. This is another funk classic. By Rick James. He was a funk musician. Interestingly,
Really? Oh.
Interestingly, he was a huge dick. So it kind of peppered my taste of the music a bit, because he's like, oh, super freak, she's super freaky. Also, I sexually assault people. So yeah, he's one gross rapey boy. So
I mean,
apart from that,
the art from the artist.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's a recurring
death
thing.
of the author.
I think only a certain percentage of musicians like that are known for that. Probably a much greater percentage of musicians are absolute wankers and do terrible things, but you just don't hear about it. So like, yeah, I do think you have to stick with separating the art from the artist, or you'll just never get.
Yeah. I guess like in that respect. Although he was best friends with Eddie Murphy. Bit of trivia there.
Really?
Like, yeah, during the 80s and stuff. Like, he was like really, really good friends with Eddie Murphy. And yeah, aside from his various terrible things he's done throughout his life, the actual music itself, I mean, this song was sampled in like MC Hammer's "Can't Touch This." You know, like, that bass line is you know, I mean, everyone's heard it, you know,
Literally
in one
everybody.
form or another, and it gets stuck in your head. If you hear it once in a day, you'll be going boom, 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 boom.
It's literally in my head right now, and I haven't even heard it today.
Yeah.
I've just looked at it and gone. Doo, 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 doo,
Yeah.
doo, doo.
I'd say that's probably one of the like top 5 most iconic bass lines
Oh
of
yeah,
all time.
yeah.
Sure.
It's
Right up there with like Under Pressure and shit.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like it's if this is a sort of a love, this episode is a love letter to the bass, then this is probably one of the biggest X's in the letter. It's absolutely, yeah, it's amazing.
Big kiss on the love letter to the bass.
The biggest kiss, yeah.
Oh, Kiss. I was like, X. I don't get it.
Well, she
Bass
was a very
doesn't have an
freaky
X
girl.
in it.
Bakes.
Yeah,
got a
it's
silent
great.
X.
It's good. Like, the songs, like, I mean, his Rick James's voice is great. You know, it sounds pretty good. Like, he's kind of, he sounds very sensual. I think that's why a lot of people like it as well. Funk, like James Brown as well, is quite like, there's a lot of sexual energy that goes into a lot of the, not only like the lyrics and the delivery, but also the actual instrumentation as well. You know, a lot of people say that like sometimes playing instruments is like making love to a lady. Like, you know, it's you know, really, really like, ooh. Yeah, there you go. I was just typing it in right now.
Yes, I'm looking at porn as we speak.
You were literally looking at porn.
No, I was wrong. Me and Ben had a conversation at the pub when we were still allowed to go outside about Marvin Gaye, who is somewhat funky, and he's famous for that song "Sexual Healing." And I got them mixed up. I was like, "Who did that song?" It wasn't this guy.
Yeah, it was Marvin Gaye. So yeah, it's what did you guys think?
I could not stop thinking about MC Hammer while listening to this, because that is,
it's very distracting.
yeah, like that's much more in my head. That's where that bass line comes from, and yeah, this song is much better than that song. But
It's growing up in the 90s, bro. That's
yeah,
just-
Claire said the same thing.
Yeah.
But because I don't listen, I've never really listened to like MC Hammer's hip hop, right?
yeah.
I don't even know.
Like, I don't know. I've lived under a
Songs
rock
of him.
my whole life. So when it comes to popular music, it like pings off me like so. Literally, when I hear that bass line, I think of Rick James because I'm like super freak. Oh, good shit.
Funny because I knew both of the songs, but even still, I more closely associate it with MC Hammer. But I think again that's just because it came up whilst we were kids, really, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, and also like there's so much popular media that used like specifically Can't Touch This, like MC Hammer's like lyrics and stuff like that with that bass sample in the background. You know, I mean, like God knows how many fucking parodies in like popular media from like TV shows and stuff that we've watched where like it's had that. So yeah, I can kind of get that.
Wait, how does the MC Hammer song go?
Can't touch this.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
I've been around the world from Chicago to the Bay.
I just haven't listened to that song much, I guess. Literally, for some reason I got it in my head and it just goes into stop. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Crisscross.
Why does it turn into the Jar-Jar slide?
I don't know.
Just an insight into how Zach's brain works.
Yeah, you guys were all expecting me to go Hammer Time, but no, I do the Cha-Cha slide.
Oh my god!
I wanted to say this song is like the WAP of the 80s.
Yeah,
this song is the most they could get away with then, and we've come a long way since then. But I imagine back then having a song where with the lyrics like "She's a very freaky girl, I'd really like to taste her" and stuff like that, and like, you know, it's basically just a song about this girl being really kinky and dangerous, like, and being a fucking freak in bed, you know?
Oh yeah.
And like, I wonder if all the Christian mums back then were like fucking burning your CDs and stuff.
Really? Yeah. I feel like they were too preoccupied by heavy metal.
Oh, they got all the time in the world. They got no fucking else going on in their lives.
I thought this song was just about a super freak.
Yeah.
Like you see him in the street and he's a bit of a freak. Just a super freak.
Like, oh god.
It's about, and she's still a very freaky girl. It's about that old lady who's always walking around with a trolley, and James Brown's like, I'd really like to taste her.
Yeah, and she's just like throwing cats at people.
Cats.
She's a super freak, run away. She's super freaky.
She'll never harm me.
Oh my goodness.
We had an old lady in Eastbourne actually who used to hang around the train station with various bin bags full of rubbish on her waist.
With the one dreadlock.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to her.
She suffocated in her bin bags.
Oh no.
Oh no. I'm sorry if you're watching this, crazy bin bag lady.
Anyway, music.
It's a good song. I like it.
Yeah.
I was going to return to what Ben was saying about the vocals and just say it's a bit weird. There's like two modes to funk vocals, aren't there? They're either like really low, like yeah, baby, getting all sexy, or they're like
yeah. It's like a proper jump, like into like from like proper low to proper high. And but I think Rick James did it quite well, where he kind of goes high, but he stays low. So he uses like a lot of his throat down here. It's like that kind of sound. And it really, really complements that kind of like style of again, that sensual sort of feel that he was going for in the music. For me, definitely the song, and probably for so many others throughout the century, it's a thumbs up. Rick James himself, fuck that guy, thumbs down.
A thumbs up. I just wanted to add that this song literally its driving force is obviously the bass again.
Oh yeah.
And for me, when I was listening to it, it literally felt like the bass was dragging the song along. And everything else just going along with the ride. It's just got that really like do 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 do, like just feels like you're moving forward to me anyway. And the you know how you guys, we all have that stank face when we hear something really heavy. I don't know. Maybe it's because I love the 80s, but I was just sitting there going. I just love it. I love it. I love 80s pop, 80s whatever, funk, whatever you want to It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, on Apple Music, it's R&B soul, but
yeah, it's hard to say. Like funk just permeates through everything, really, doesn't it?
yeah. I love. Have you seen Street Songs album artwork?
No.
Well, I mean, you guys are gonna think it's cringe, and you'll probably hate it, but I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
What is it?
It's so 80. It's like he's just standing there in like full leather with like big leather
the album artwork.
boots.
Yeah.
Oh,
the artwork for this song.
The artwork for this one.
Yeah.
He looks like he should have a trolley.
It's just him with a bass on a street corner sort of thing.
I think
Look
I've
at the
seen
size of his
that.
boots.
His boots are mad. You wouldn't get any mud in them and download.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, his boots are huge.
He's got shiny leather boots on top of shiny leather trousers.
Yeah,
So good.
he looking like a super freak himself.
He's wearing a whole cow.
Yeah,
He probably is wearing a whole cow. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm going to give it the thumbs up. I loved this song
the
anyway.
bass up.
And
Ooh.
I mean, for me, this bass line is always super freak, not the cha-cha slide. So, yeah.
MC Hammer.
Nice.
And MC
touch
Hammer, both thumbs up.
No,
Yeah, same. 2 thumbs up from me.
5 from me.
All right, so my choice for this week, or this time, was so I kind of got a bit stuck on what to pick. I'd not listened to this album before. I've always liked funk, and I've liked funky elements in music, but I'd never gone out of my way to really listen to a proper funk album. So I knew about Parliament and Funkadelic because I've heard a few songs here and there, like Brick House and the whole Maggot Brain album. But yeah, this was apparently Parliament's most iconic album that really summarizes what they're all about and what the subgenre of funk, P-Funk, is. Obviously, it's so iconic to them. P-Funk stands for Parliament Funk. So that's how much of a say they had in this subgenre. My first time listening to it as well, the only song I'd heard was Give Up the Funk. Yeah, I'll leave it to you guys to see what you think. Go on, Ben. What do you think?
So this is definitely like probably apart from the singles, this is quite clearly the most iconic like funk album, probably one of the most iconic funk albums ever made. If you went to someone, you were like, hey, what's funk? You'd probably give them this album or at least a couple of singles of this album and say, this is funk. So in that respect, we're getting some of the cream of the crop. And I really enjoyed it. I feel like definitely a lot of the songs had some like amazing like instrumentation again, like for the 20th time probably this episode. The bass absolutely carried so much.
Bass? Wait, this album had bass?
This album bass?
What?
No, it was the drummer. The drummer was the best in this.
They had a drummer? What?
Wow!
And yeah, it's the one thing
All
that
I
can
saw
remember
was a big fat blonde man talking about fucking COVID. What Parliament did you listen to?
We'll be stuck in tier 25 next year.
Oh,
See
no.
you soon.
Or a ship connection.
Yeah, I enjoyed this album. I feel like one of the big points that Carl mentioned earlier about the fact that like some of the songs ran on for a little bit, and that was to like help get into the groove and stuff. I think it's just because of my ADHD rattled brain. Like I felt like that was like the shortcoming for most of the songs in this album. I felt like honestly, like some of them could have been like possibly some of the greatest songs ever. If they just cut by like a minute or two. And to be fair, like I'm sure there's probably somewhere like a radio edit version of all of these songs where obviously they wanted to play it on the radio, but they didn't want to bore their listeners, so they probably did do something like that where they cut it, and that I reckon would have been like perfect.
Yeah, I want to hear a radio edit of P-Funk.
Yeah.
Ironically, get rid of all the radio shit, because
that
was like fucking that felt like an interlude, like most of that.
But it was
song.
in the song. I was like,
yeah, I was like, for fuck's sake, man! The last minute of P-Funk is amazing. Why can't the whole song be like that?
Yeah,
it's kind of a semi-concept album again that I've accidentally chosen. It's an album.
You chose a concept album?
Yeah, who fucking does that, dude?
Hey, I didn't know P-Funk stood for prog funk.
I didn't know it was a concept album before I picked it, so I guess it's just my brain's that hardwired that I have to do it. But yeah, it's like they're all a bunch of aliens in a UFO broadcasting weird alien funk to the planet, and the song P-Funk is just him absolutely talking complete bullshit. Like, you got your sunglasses, you gotta wear your sunglasses to feel cool.
Funk can not only move, it can remove. Dig.
Dig.
That's actually one of the best points about this album. Like whether or not like some of it goes on for a little bit too long. Like this I was saying to Carl before, this fucking album oozes cool. Like it's one of the coolest things ever. Like you show someone like the way they speak and like the way they're like, yeah, you dig. I'm just like, oh yeah, I dig it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so it's good. Timeless, isn't it? It's aged so well. 1975 this came out.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. The only thing that's aged about this is, what's a radio?
When did you say this came out? 75. 75. Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe they were
5 years ago.
They were just too advanced. Yeah.
This album was actually released by like Area 51. They're just like, we received this transmission, but
the mothership connection.
It's had a big influence on quite a lot of later songs as well. The song Mothership Connection has that bit in it where it's like, let me ride. And I was like, I've definitely heard that before. And it turns out it's the main hook of Dr. Dre's song, Let Me Ride. Okay. Also,
so the main hook of that song was someone else's hook. Cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's hip-hop.
Rappers do that all the fucking time. They just rock catchy hooks.
Yeah. When the song Give Up the Funk came on, Ben knew like all the lyrics, and I was like, how do you know this? He's like, I don't even know, man. But we looked it up, and the episode of It's Always Sunny, Charlie's mum has cancer, featured the whole song. So
money now, me money.
Fuck, I don't remember that. That's so many episodes, to be fair. It's like 14 seasons.
Yeah. Pretty iconic. So the concept is quite funny. He said, we had to put black people in situations nobody ever thought they'd be, like the White House and outer space. I was a big fan of Star Trek, so we did a thing with a pimp sitting in a spaceship shaped like a Cadillac.
Is this a direct quote from one?
This is what he said.
Oh,
a pimp sitting in a spaceship shaped like a Cadillac, and we did all these James Brown type grooves, but with street talk and ghetto slang. So also the song Handcuffs, the singer on that, they get a guest singer on it, and he's fucking amazing. Like, he's proper soulful. It's like, yeah. It's so good, man.
Yeah,
I fucking loved it. They got a few guest musicians on here as well. The song P-Funk has Bootsy Collins on, and Bootsy Collins is still kicking today, still making music, and he's fucking amazing. And he's a great bassist as well. So yeah, give him a wee looky. Anyway, I'll let you guys talk now. Yeah, Bootsy Collins, he's great.
Fair enough. I mean, okay, the bass was amazing. Just want to put that out there. Yeah, I know, right? You don't have to throw shit around. Like,
fuck, you said bass again.
I love that splatty effect this one has. Do you know what I mean? It kind of sounds like it's splatting. It's like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to re-listen to it. It sounds like it's just splatting off the fucking strings. Of course, it reminds me of Toe Jam and Earl because that was my main exposure to funk. I keep bringing Toe Jam and Earl.
Another game about aliens, funky aliens. Huh.
Yeah. If anyone's not heard the Toe Jam and Earl soundtrack, go listen to it. It's fucking incredible. And there's no way they made that on a Mega Drive. Like, it's mad. But,
Zach, if you're interested, I might be showing my ignorance here, but I think that bass effect is called an envelope filter. If you want to look more into it.
An envelope filter.
I might have that completely wrong, but there is an effect called an envelope filter, which I think might be the thing that you're talking about.
I'm gonna write that down anyway. Envelope filter.
It's a lot of like slappy and poppy stuff, isn't it? It's like blip, 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 blip. I don't know exactly how they do it, but yeah, it's really.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
really
to be
cool.
fair, even Primus sometimes had like that slightly kind of. I think from where like they slap it, and then it kind of makes like a boom, like kind of sounds like sometimes it makes that kind of splashy sound. Yeah, I definitely get what you mean for sure. Like it like a lot of the bass, and that's what like again makes it so like, even though it's kind of like a relatively simple instrument, like it's so versatile in like the effects and stuff that you can do with it. That's kind of mad.
But that's not the only like instrument here. Like the I think it's a trumpet in a Mothership. Funky UFO, Unfunky UFO.
Yeah,
the keyboard and the vocals just blend so fluently in that song. I was listening to it, and I was just like, man, everything just sounds like it's there for a reason, and it's so cool. I've got dyslexia, so it took me a long time to read this one word. Could someone else give it a go?
You mean super groovelistic prosifunstication?
Oh yeah.
Wait, say that again, Greg.
Super groovelistic prosifunstication.
Yeah, Greg. How do you do it?
I literally sat there for like 5-10 minutes trying to do
it. But no,
I could use this.
To be fair, it's a fun fact. Also, if anyone's like, has anyone here heard Mothership in like a party or something? You could literally just go in and be like, super good education, and you'll just be like, everyone will be like, he said the thing really fast.
Can you say it 5 times first?
Groovelistic? No.
No.
Get like half a second into it, like nope.
I was really trying to like think of intricates when I was like listening to this album, and one of the intricates I came across was in "Give Up the Funk" when he goes like "ooh wee" like that, and then as he goes "wee," at the time like "give up the funk." Da, 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 da. Ooh wee, yeah. That ooh wee, that bit just sounds so good. And if it wasn't there, it wouldn't be as good. And I definitely not noticed it the first like couple of listens. And then I was just like, I was just like, hang on, he's going ooh wee behind there, and it sounds so good.
That's so weird that you mentioned that, because like I don't hear necessarily ooh wee. I just hear him say like ow. Like,
owie?
Yeah, it's like owie, got the
yeah.
But it's so fun to sing. Like we were doing it just before this episode. Actually, both of us just going, "We up the funk, give up the funk."
But the genius is "want the funk, give up the funk" starts as he goes "we," so it's kind of like "we want the funk, give up the funk," but it's like underneath the "give up." I don't know. It's just overlapping each other, but yet it makes a sentence in your brain. It's really cool.
It's almost like weird time signature kind of thing.
Yeah, they're definitely playing around with some cool stuff right there.
Yeah.
Night of the Thumposaurus Peoples as well had a really weird bass noise in it as well, where it's like it sounded
I didn't like that.
Oh really? I thought it was really cool.
It ruined the whole song. It's the only song on the album I was just like, this sounds like a fucking... Wait, what did I write? Not really keen. Sounds like a fart or a bee.
It kind of does like sound a bit farty, doesn't it? It's very.
It's a shame because, in my opinion, I mean, if you like it, then it's all down to taste. But like, in my opinion, because I interrupted you here,
no,
it's stinky. Me no likey. The song would be so much better without that fucking in it.
What did you think, Greg?
Yeah, I definitely agree with it being like just oozing cool and like being incredibly yeah, I guess iconic would be the word. It really reminded me of well, that whole era. But have you guys ever seen a film called Black Dynamite?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I've not seen the movie. I've seen the like fake trailer they made. For
Yeah,
it.
No, the movie's actually really good, and yeah, this entire album made me think of Black Dynamite. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Definitely do. It's really good. I guess what I don't really understand is what is the distinction between P-Funk and like just funk.
I think Parliament were like the first group to really embrace the like just the fun side of funk. Like previously, like obviously like funk before that was always really cool. And on this album as well, they've got a fair few like proper love making songs, you know, proper like like proper like for the ladies songs, you know. Yeah. But I think P-Funk was like the first time where it's just a big group of people. They're all jamming together live, and they're just fucking around. They're just having a fun time singing about silly stuff, you know. Like all of their live shows, if you saw any of those, they've got like a big chorus of people in the background, which I guess are just their friends, like just singing along, like "We want the funk." And they're not part of the band; they're just there, like just grooving, you know. Like I think it's more emphasis on fun and having a good time and silly behavior than trying to be cool, you know. Even though it is, like. I think that's the main distinction.
I think it's less like actual like musical difference and more like stylistic difference. They're kind of like how they present themselves, sort of thing.
Yeah,
in the music, which is cool.
I didn't even know P-Funk and funk were different.
Yeah,
they're not really.
Yeah.
I know what
I get like real vibes that there was not much like this before it, because it reminded me of Permission to Land by the Darkness, where that whole like concept of that album is just rock is dead. Here's a band that sounds really bizarre compared to everything else that's out. I think it came out in 2004 or something.
Yeah.
And judging by like we have just tapped into your radio, do not be scared. And the whole vibes of the album just give me the vibe that there wasn't much like it at the time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
You actually do not adjust your set. This is absolutely normal.
As like a very small segue, if you guys can enlighten me. I swear I've heard that phrase in rock and roll so much, that the phrase "rock is dead." But like, where does it even come from? Like, why do people say it?
Hip hop as well? Rappers are constantly saying hip hop is dead. I think it's just an instinct that people have when things get a bit stale.
Yeah, like, but it never dies though. Like, I mean, rock's been a thing for like over 100 years, and so's like everything else. Like, why do people say?
In a way, it's a form of gatekeeping, sort of. It's like you're saying, there's, I don't know, nothing's like new and exciting enough. Even though there is always loads of new and exciting stuff, it's just that like
maybe it doesn't sound like what they want it to sound like, really.
Yeah, because if rock changes and there's new stuff, then they'll say it's dead because it's not the same as it used to be.
Right. Okay.
And if it doesn't change, then they'll say it's dead because it's not changing and evolving. I think it's just people who want to have a point.
Yeah. And even if rock does change, you'll still have bands that sound like old rock, and then that change moved on to make a new genre.
Yeah.
Like, rock's not dead. It just created fucking metal and arguably funk and all that shit. It's just because rock and roll, that is.
Yeah.
Here's a question though: is funk dead? I've been wondering. where the funk scene is these days? Is it still alive and kicking?
So funk. Oh,
Toe
dude,
Jam
funk is
and Earl
still,
recently got a new game, so I don't think it is.
funk is still rocking around. You know, in a lot of mainstream songs, like you've got people that I can't think of them off the top of my head. Like, oh god, who's the guy?
Just describe him. Describe him.
He's like, oh, he's got short black hair, and like there was a video of him and his like musicians, and he's famous, and he was like wearing teddy bears. What the fuck? Who the fuck am I thinking about?
So it's a guy with short black hair, and he's famous. Okay.
He's dressed as a teddy bear.
Segue, you speak. I'll find him, and then I'll be like, this
week.
guy.
This guy. Gene Simmons the other day. Well, he went on record a few years ago to say rock and roll is dead. There's no exciting new bands. They're all shit. We're still the best. And then like the other day, he repeated it again. Like, no, it's still shit. And it's like,
all right, I saw that.
Probably because the guy's a fucking fossil and doesn't like. The guy's been trying to commercialize his band for years. Like,
you want to say rock's dead? Kyle linked a fucking article today from Metal Sucks, just saying all the rock and metal albums that are coming out this year. There's loads.
Yeah,
there's
and
loads.
they're all so different. It's a huge variety.
Yeah,
ranging from fucking Grey Van Fleet to Carcass. Like,
I think you need to put in more effort these days to find like new bands, because there's not big record labels really pushing stuff like that in your face. Like, bands don't really get like advertised anymore. Like, the only time I ever
like and subscribe.
Yeah,
like and subscribe. Songs
this
out.
Is advertising now.
Soon.
You are being advertised to.
Bringing in new bands like Parliament and Primus.
Hey man, we just did a Spirit Box review, okay, and we got a couple other new bands that we're going to put spotlights onto soon. So
that's very true.
You know,
nice.
I think it's really important that the community kind of get together and really make an effort to get each other out there. It's all very grassroots these days. There's no adverts on TV or anything. Like, do you ever get like YouTube does all this effort, Google like does all these analytics, like what is this person into? And yet to this day, I've never been advertised like a YouTube advert of like an album or something.
Yeah,
like very rarely.
It's always something like the new fucking Lost Prophets album or so. I don't know, something like that.
Bruno Mars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know your arm was there. He did Uptown Funk.
Yeah.
So like
Grenade and shit.
Yeah. So like a lot of like his not his like early stuff, like Just the Way You Are and stuff like that. That's shit. But like, you know, his more recent, well, I say more recent, in the last like 10 years, he got a little bit more funky.
He has Finesse, which is very funky, and it's probably my favorite song by him.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been and like I'd argue, like I think The Weeknd's been doing a lot more of the R&B soul side, but a couple of his songs have also been slightly on the funkier end as well. So I think it's kind of, rather than like, I like a lot of rock and roll nowadays, rather than like I guess it has died, but rather than dying, it's kind of just melded into other genres and everything else, kind of, which is it's a beautiful thing about music, you know.
I mean, it's the easiest way to innovate, isn't it? Just like I can take this genre and this genre and smash them together.
Smash them! Smash them!
Yeah.
I mean, Chub at the end of the day is probably going to end up being a combination of punk and metal. So,
which is just
petal,
kind of thrash, I guess, or petal,
beautiful petal.
I can't actually remember the melody, but in Handcuffs, you might have already said this. I said I feel like I've heard this melody before. Did you already say that?
No, I didn't. No, I've got anything.
If I weren't recording, I'd quickly listen to it, but I should probably elaborate more in my notes. Yes.
It does feel like I'm sure, like, because there's already a few examples I found and listed of samples. I wouldn't be surprised if there are other things as well.
Yeah.
And like quickly touching back on the whole funk thing, like modern, like there's plenty of modern R&B and soul and hip hop and like even electronic music, which is very bass heavy. Like I think music in general since funk has become a lot more bass oriented. I mean, there's a reason why there's like people call themselves bass heads and shit, isn't there? A lot of them won't have ever even picked up a bass guitar, but they still fucking love like the sound and the feeling it gives them. And I think, I mean, obviously I'm not a musical expert by any stretch of the imagination, but prior to funk, I don't know if there's any songs I can think of that were really bass oriented. You know,
aside from stuff that like was sort of focused on like double bass, like a lot of like old rockabilly, rock and roll sort of stuff in the 40s and 50s that might have utilized like a lot of like boom 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 boom.
Yeah,
but that's not like bass heavy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like when I think of that sort of thing, I think of like the bass is just the same thing for the whole song.
It's kind of complementing
you know, like it's just setting up the rhythm, keeping the beat.
I think funk did the transition of rather than bass complementing everything else, funk kind of took that and flipped it on its head, where everything was kind of complementing the bass instead. Which, you know, we said about Primus as well, where, you know, like Zach mentioned before, like the guitar and the drums are complementing like and helping along the actual main highlight, which is the bass guitar. So yeah, I think
Yeah. We've all learned a lot this episode.
What did you guys think of the album? Let's give ratings.
I just want to say one more note. This whole album reminded me of Back to the Future 2 in the school dance scene when you got that like band playing at the prom. And they're all just like really smooth talking black people. And there's like even a bit where he calls a guy called Chuck on the phone. He's like, Chuck, I think I found your sound. And I puts the phone up to obviously Chuck Berry, but I know it's just the way they speak just reminded me of that. And I'm making a mental note to write down things where the music just reminds me of something because it's just interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Especially like this that really like captures the mood of a decade or a sort of a time and place, and makes you think of other things from the same period.
Yeah. I kind of look back at this with like a weird, strange nostalgia of a time I never experienced. Like, imagine if we could go back to like when people actually called each other cool cats and said dig unironically, and it was cool. Yeah, and that would have been just such a great time to be alive, you know.
I think a lot of the style, everything from that era, and you know, but remember, obviously, like a lot of the people that experienced those kind of things, that had those that were cool and everything like that, they were like incredibly marginalized, like so much back in that day as well. Like I think a lot of the reason why it's cool and like hip like nowadays to look back at that stuff was because it was very cliquey, I think, back then, because they obviously were so segregated, especially in American black culture, you know, from obviously a lot of the white people back then, because it was a minefield of racism.
Yeah.
So,
cunts.
I hate myself.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, like the style is just mwah. Let's start calling everyone cool cats. No, my cool cat.
Cool cat. All right, Greg, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, it doesn't work.
Right,
Continue,
Greg,
my cool cat.
I was just gonna say, I watched the Evil Dead films recently, and like there was one bit where it just made my skin crawl, and I still can't tell if it was a joke or not. But have you ever seen the Evil Dead films?
I've seen the first one.
They're just like really, really, really stupid like zombie movies.
Yeah.
There's one point where the main character, they say something cheesy like, "Yeah, let's go and kill these motherfuckers," and the guy he just looks like straight at the camera and just goes, "Groovy."
Oh yeah. I think I've seen that.
It's like the hammiest thing ever.
Groovy.
So I love it so much. It's so.
Mate, when we're allowed to meet up again, we should have a
hashtag
iconic
bring back
cheesy
groovy.
movie.
Yeah.
That's like
groovy.
Totally tubular,
totally tubular. So anyway, you cool cats, cool cat safe kids. Shall we do some ratings? Cool cats. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Cool Cats Save the Kids please. Has ruined that.
Oh yeah, that's probably one of the worst movies ever conceived.
I don't. God. What is this? I've never heard of this.
Oh my god! Watch.
I Hate Everything.
Yeah. I Hate Everything.
Also,
thank you. It's just so.
Follow the guy on Twitter, the guy who made it, Derek Savage. He's like hilarious. He just hits up like porn stars on the Cool Cat account and is like, "Hey, I'm Cool Cat. You want to watch my
movie?" Like literally someone with their Twitter where they're just doing like all of their like OnlyFans stuff, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm Cool Cat."
He's such a broken man.
So bad. It's such a wild ride, though.
Oh my god,
such a broken man. Fucking hell! I need to watch it now.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Actually, yeah. There's So the other movie reviewer who like had a thing with him was Your Movie Sucks.
Oh, they both did, yeah.
Watch the cannabis awards or whatever it is, or the like marijuana awards ceremony with Derek Savage, and Your Movie Sucks does a commentary on it, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we'll watch it on YouTube. It's so good.
Oh god. So ratings.
Yes, you start.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, I feel like I said this at the start of the episode, but I'm going to say it again now. Now, the bass is one of the most underrated instruments, and listening to these Primus, Rick James, James Brown, and Parliament just kind of proves that you can do so much with that one instrument, and it's so cool, and I like it. This album, though, as much as I loved the songs, there's the P-Funk. When I first heard that like radio segment bit, I was like, this is cool. I like this. This is unique. Never really heard anything like this before. And then I listened to it again a couple of weeks later, and I was like, okay, shit, this is actually kind of boring. Fuck. And because of all the talking parts, and like you said, Ben, at the beginning, if they did a radio edit of P-Funk without any of the talking bollocks, then that song be amazing. But because of that, not for me. It's too much talking over and obviously Night of the Thumposaurus Peoples, for me, it sounded like a fart, and it just ruined the whole fucking song. I could hear what was going on underneath it, but I was just like, man, why is this here? Everything else I'm listening to is really cool. But because of those two reasons, it's dropped down a couple of notches for me, so I'm going to give it a 7 as well. Other than that, though, Mothership Connection all the way through to Give Up the Funk are fucking amazing songs. So, yay! Greg.
Nice. It's a very similar story to the Primus one with me, really. Like, I think I pretty much loved everything about it. The radio stuff in the beginning didn't bother me that much because I thought it was kind of a relic of the time and the fact that it was quite experimental back then, and they wanted to set out their aesthetic and kind of have a character.
It didn't bother me the first time, but like on prior listens, it bothered me.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the main thing that brought it down for me was, like Ben said, if each song was just like 3.5 minutes long, it would be perfect. But because they did drag on a bit, I would drop it. I was going to give it like a 9, but I'm dropping it down to an 8, similar to Primus.
Damn, Ben.
Yeah, this album was really, really good. It definitely, I feel like, even though I mentioned before about the length being a bit shorter, I feel like a few songs, it did sort of switch it up
in a couple of ways, like whether it's like either going to like slightly slower bits, slightly funkier bits with like, you know, obviously showing the bass off, or like singy segments. It did have definitely some chop and change that was definitely like, you know, really, really interesting. And yeah, the voices and everything, I mean, like, you know, the actual like lyrical content, there wasn't really that much there. It was kind of just like funk. weird funk, by the way, funk.
By the way, I love funk. I love funk.
And being funk. I'm like, funkin' hell.
I love funk.
I got the bug. And yeah, like, and then also, you know, being cool as well.
You cool cat.
But you know, it wasn't necessarily about the content, it was about the actual musical delivery, and that's where it truly shines, for being, you know, so like the whole time it's just head bopping goodness. You just want to be like, yeah, like the whole, like, you get, like, you know, when we're ever at like metal gigs or anything like that, or we go to a festival, and by the end of it our necks fucking hurt because, like, you know, we've been headbanging so much. Well, listening to this album would be like a remedy for that, because you'd be headbanging, but like slowly. You can relax yourself into it.
You got like the chicken.
The chicken neck. Give yourself a massage. Make yourself feel better. And yeah, this it's absolutely groovy and funky the whole way through. It does really falter in a lot of the songs for me. From what I obviously mentioned, and you guys mentioned, where a lot of the time it outstays its welcome, and that really drives it down. I mean, in all fairness as well, like, I gave it another listen today, but even then, the only song that really gets stuck in my head and will always probably be stuck in my head is "Give Up the Funk." The rest of the songs, whilst they were good, they weren't that memorable enough for me to get that stuck in my head. So whilst like holistically it's a great album, and like obviously the single on it like absolutely slaps, it just felt a little bit too long. Although the saving grace is that there aren't actually that many songs in this album. There's like 7 or 8 songs. Like it's kind of short. Yeah. So like, I mean, it could have been like 3 more songs. And that would have just brought it right down, because it would have just lasted like way too long. But I think because there's so little songs on there, maybe that's why a lot of the songs are like outstay their welcome a bit, because they're like, oh man, we got to fill up space. We only got 7 songs. So that could be.
There's not 9 songs and fucking 2 interludes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but then again, sometimes I wonder, like, if they shortened their songs and then just added a couple other songs that were like the same length, kind of short, it might have been even better. I don't know. But with that, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I still really enjoyed it and I had a great time, and we'll probably put this on when we just wanna funk out. Take it away, Kyle.
What were you gonna say, Greg? Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's only 30. Like when we were talking about how long the album is, it's 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. But even still, and yeah, I've got to agree. Definitely, some songs just go on for too long. I think it's a symptom of a lot of songs of that era where they have this one really, really good hook, but they're like, all right, now we're gonna fucking grind it into paste, grind it into the dirt until it's not good anymore. And it's like, yeah, like there's plenty of songs where they could be like a minute shorter, and I guess like a lot of it is like quite jammy, so they're just playing around, they're having fun with it. But yeah, like, I mean, we listened to the whole album in one sitting. We both listened to it on the TV, and I really enjoyed it all the way through. But that's the only complaint I had, was there was just a couple times I was like, okay, next song, please.
You were like watching a bit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. I was like, fuck me.
Literally just like, oh, the song's still on. It's still the same one, because they've kind of repeated the same stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily make it bad. It just means that it just outstays ever so slightly.
Yeah, for sure. I did really enjoy it, though. It's a very upbeat, happy album. You put on Give Up the Funk, or I really liked Handcuffs as well. I thought that was the second best song on the album. I really loved the vocals on Handcuffs. They're kind of hard to listen to in be sad, you know? Like you listen to them, it's just so upbeat. It's a song about aliens in a fucking pimp Cadillac in space. Like it's just great. It's a bunch of dudes just having a good time making music together, you know, and it's funky as fuck. You can't not move your head. It's dancing music, like it's got you vibing, man. So yeah, for that reason, also, but yeah, the fact that it just went on for too long, and the fact that I only really would listen to 2 of the songs off the album, it's still a high rating considering that. I'm giving it a 7 as well. I think at the time it's probably like a 10 out of 10. It's like kind of, you have to take it with the context of like, this is a very old album, and you know, a lot of things in it that were truly unique have suffused themselves into everything since. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Try it, and I think from my personal perspective, a 7 out of 10. But for the impact it's had on music since, it's got to be like at least a 9 in my opinion. But yeah, this is all subjective. So,
did you know that I've just seen us still making albums? They had an album out this year.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
I thought they broke up.
Funkaween.
But they also had an album out in 2018, according to they had a massive gap from 1980, and then they've got a new album on Spotify from 2018. I don't know if it's like pieced together from old scraps or whatever, but
Funkaween.
I'll look it up.
I mean,
Funkaween.
Dr. Funkenstein.
Oh my
Aqua
god, Greg,
Boogie.
they've got an even harder. Aqua Boogie, a Psycho Alpha Disco Beta Bio Aqua Dooloop.
oh my god.
And Sir Nose D Voidofunk.
See, on Apple Music, a lot of their albums are under compilations. I don't know whether that's because they're a large group of people doing this stuff, because it is a big old group of people in it.
Yeah, Funkaween is a compilation. It was on their 90. I mean, that song Aqua Boogie, Psycho Alpha Disco Beta Bio Aqua Dooloop is off of the album Motor Booty Affair from 1978.
The fucking name.
Motor
These
Booty
names.
Affair. It's amazing.
So good.
Also, if you look at the members of the band, there's so many people part of this band.
Yeah, it's what I just said. It's like there's like 15 of them.
Truly an actual parliament.
Well, thank you for listening, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed the funk extravaganza. As for comments, well, you didn't get any reviews this week, this time. But Pavel Rudrik, thank you for your comments. I'm sorry that you didn't agree with our opinion on Arion, but it was still a really interesting exchange nonetheless, and I think we came around to an understanding afterwards. Iced Earth is definitely going to have to be on the radar for a listen for us, I think.
Yeah, I know Claire likes
What
Iced
about
Earth.
best albums video? Is that good comments?
Yeah, he also mentioned Blind Guardian, who I have listened to, and I'm sure you'd like them as well, Zach.
Oh yeah, I like Blind Guardian. I saw them at Bloodstock a couple of years ago. They were sick.
Nice. Well, all right. So next week we're doing something a little bit different, aren't we? We were going to go back to your standard programming. We were going to go back to just picking whatever we fucking felt like. But we thought with today's news, the tragic news of Alexei Leho of Children of Bodom's passing, way too fucking young, only 41. Like,
Mate, that shook me so hard.
Same, yeah. It's the first thing I saw this morning, and I was just like, "You what?" Like genuinely out of nowhere. Apparently, he'd been having some long-term health issues, and to be fair, he wasn't looking very well. But I mean, they gigged in their new band, but Bodom After Midnight in December. So
Claire, we saw Bodom last year at Bloodstock, and Claire did mention that he wasn't looking too great, but I didn't realize it was because he was ill. Thought he might have been hungover or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they really downplayed it. So so for that, and also of course, the legend, the guitar hero himself, Eddie Van Halen, tragically died late last year. So we thought we'd do a kind of reflection on their on some of their stuff. So we're going to do an album each of Children of Bodom and Van Halen. I think we agreed for Van Halen, we're going to do 1984. Is that right?
I did think about doing Van Halen 2, but Van Halen 1984 has more of their own original stuff, whereas all the hits on Van Halen 2 are like covers, I think. So that's why I feel like this is a better alternative, or better to go down this one.
I'll be honest as well, and I don't know about you guys, but I've really not listened to much Van Halen other than the big
neither have
ones.
I.
Like, I think I've heard like Panama and Jump, but Van Halen were never as big outside
Panama
of America.
and Jump are on this album. It's also got Hot for Teacher on this album too.
Oh,
I have heard
Teacher's
that. I've heard
fucking
that
nice.
song. Yeah.
That's one. It's such a sick song.
I mean, Van Halen are fucking incredible. I love them.
And then for Children of Bodom, we're going to do one of their breakthroughs that's considered by a lot of people to be their best. It's probably the most indicative of their sound. It's Follow the Reaper. I fucking love this album. It's my favorite Children of Bodom album. Ben's the only one of us who's never listened to Children of Bodom.
That surprises me.
I think. Yeah. I don't know how you managed that.
I just,
I think I'm going to make Ben do a reaction as well, but not to anything off Follow the Reaper. We're going to do If You Want Peace, Prepare for War, because that is such a fucking slapper of a song, like, and really emphasizes how much of a guitar wizard Alexi Laiho really was.
Oh, yeah. You see him playing live, and he doesn't miss a note. It's crazy.
He's absolutely nuts, and he's singing as well. It's like how.
You definitely also need to show Ben Oops, I Did It Again, which is my favorite Ben thing.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing Looking Out My Back Door as well.
Yeah.
They got into the habit of doing like at least one cover on each album, and they were all
Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears.
The greatest thing you'll ever hear in your life.
Okay, I gotta hear this. I'm so late to the party on this. Obviously, he's tragically passed away, so it's sad that I kind of got into them. When now I'm never gonna be able to see them live, but I want to appreciate their stuff.
It's so often the way there is.
The only reason why I say that I'm surprised you haven't heard them is because of they're like bands like In Flames and Slipknot and Machine Head and stuff, and Killswitch. They're from that era.
Yeah,
Bodom is up there with them, so. Yeah.
It's easy to miss one though, isn't it? Sometimes when a band is everywhere,
I feel like
one.
I can't remember. Like, I don't think. I mean, I don't know about you guys. Like, I know like basically all your favorite bands, but I don't know anyone that's literally been like, Children of Bodom is my number one favorite band. Because
they were Claire's favorite band.
Well, I didn't.
Claire's, they're in Claire's top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got like all their albums.
Yeah, she actually owns all their albums on CD, guys. CD.
Oh my god!
What?
Meanwhile, I've got a whole CD rack over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't own any Airborne albums.
You hipster. Doesn't count.
I hope you enjoy playing them, Kyle.
Yeah, I never. They're there to look pretty and to talk about.
Yeah, they're a set piece.
Yeah, pretty much, and to support the band,
Yeah.
Anyway, look forward to that. We're going to try and get back on track with the whole 2 weeks thing. It kind of we had a 0.5 out. Oh yeah, singles. So it's kind of an awkward one.
Oh.
Yeah, we did choose singles. It's a bit of an awkward one because we don't want to just shoehorn in other people who died because that seems a bit disrespectful. But somebody else who tragically was announced they passed on New Year's Eve was MF Doom. So I don't think any of us have ever listened to him, but famously MF Doom is known as your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. So I feel like we owe it to ourselves to give him a listen. Did we pick a song?
I skimmed through his like most popular, so it's a bit of a random choice, but I just went with his most popular one because a lot like Ben Missing Bodom. I've heard this name a million fucking times, and I listened to an album that he did with it. It was like a collab with somebody. Maybe might have been Cesar Face actually. But yeah, never properly sat down and listened to him. So I just picked. I'm gonna say it wrong. It's called Rap Snitch Knishes.
Rap Snitch Knishes.
But it's his number one song on Spotify, so none of us have heard it. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Niches. I think.
And yeah, it's a little bit late, I guess, to like pay respects to such a great rapper who I probably should have listened to while he was alive. But it's never too late. So,
it's a lot of the times it's the way of music in general. I mean, one of the biggest examples of that is probably Ian Curtis's stuff from Joy Division. After he killed himself, like barely many people listened to Joy Division that much during the 70s and 80s when they were like at the peak of their career or whatever. But then once he passed away tragically when he killed himself, so many people suddenly realized like the genius and the amazing stuff from their catalog. I think it happens a lot in regards to that. So all we can do is pay homage
to me and Bowie. I never really listened to David Bowie, and then he died. So I was like, I'll listen to him.
I never really listened to Prince that much, to be honest. And then when he passed away, I was like, I feel like I owe it to give him more of a listen. And then I was like, damn, okay, slaps. So
Prince.
So
is awesome.
Definitely want to pay our respects in that kind of way by supporting the music and the legacy, for sure.
The other single was Van Halen again, which is the first for the CHUB Cast. But I feel like we all need to just listen to Eruption. Eruption is, it's quite a. I'm losing the words here, but it's an important song. I feel. An influential solo. It's so influential.
When Eddie died, like Twitter and everything was just filled with guitarists saying Eruption was the song that made me want to learn guitar. Eruption was the song that really made me feel passionate.
I don't think I've even heard that song before.
Oh mate,
it's from a guitarist point of view, like especially back then, it was one of those kind of watermark moments in guitar history where it blew everybody's mind so much that they were like, fuck, I need to go and practice. Like, I need to be that good. I'm sure I've heard like Paul Gilbert say that was one of his moments where he realized what he needed to do with his life and that.
But Ben, when you listen to it, you gotta remember that it was written in 1978. So
this is probably like the first iteration.
Actually, it was. Oh no! Actually, I'll save this for the next time. I'm gonna write that down.
The reason why we picked another Van Halen single, I mean, obviously Eruption is an iconic song, but also we kind of started thinking about like, oh, who else died last year? And then we thought that's really not a good thing to do. Like, I don't think we do them justice or really, like respect to the memory properly if we went deliberately looking like, oh, this person died sort of thing. So that's why we've picked these guys, because they've really made a big impact, and we already knew about them in advance. We feel like we can actually do them justice rather than just doing it for the sake of the podcast sort of thing, which feels like a dick move.
There's going to be a lot to talk about these two bands and the rapper. So
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice one, boys. Well, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, leave a comment on the next week's album. So that's Children of Bodom, Follow the Reaper, Van Halen, 1984. Let us know what you thought. Fucking give us a follow on Instagram. That's the main thing we use, at Chub the Band. Like and fucking subscribe, mates. If this podcast gave you a big raging bonerino,
like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.